The show is sponsored by PowerfulWomenUSA.com, a place to be inspired by other women. Hey everybody, I'm Jill Conway, and this is Secrets of Powerful Women, a show dedicated to celebrating and supporting strong and successful women and sharing their stories. I'm hoping that you'll be inspired to pursue your own dreams, reclaim your voice, and discover your strengths. So my guest today is Karen King, and she is a well-known entertainer and fabulous singer-songwriter. In fact, you are listening to her brand new song, Christmas Time in New York City. She is also the president of Alleva Dairy, the oldest cheese shop in America. So welcome, Karen, and thank you for coming on the show.
Hi, Jill. Oh, my God. I'm so excited to be on here. You know, it's been a long time. I wanted to come on your show, and you're doing great. And I love this. I love your title, The Secrets of Powerful Women, because that's what women are today. We are powerful, and we got it. And we're businesswomen, entertainers, but in every field, women are strong. We're very strong.
We're very strong, and we just keep getting stronger, right?
We do. You know why? Because we keep at it. We pursue everything that we set our minds to do. And honestly, I was thinking about when I come on here and talk to you about what it means to me to be powerful. Well, I think that it's our ability to pursue, to think, to visualize, to plan who we are, where we're going, and what we want to do, and how we get there. And I think that it's walking the path and putting everything into motion, and that anybody can be powerful, but it's pursuing it and staying on the path and never being relentless in it. And really, that's where our power lies. And we have all the ability to do and be powerful people in every aspect of our lives. That's why I wanted to do your show.
Thank you. I know, and a lot of people are asking you, I heard. So I'm honored that you would come on the show.
I love it.
I love it. No, but I think what you say is so true because, you know, it doesn't, I think there's a stigma in our culture that of a certain age, women should just stop, crawl, become invisible, after a certain age. And I think that is the absolute wrong thing that any message should be. So,
well, you could see what's happening now. I mean, first of all, being at older and going through all the experiences. Well, what the heck did we go through all those experiences if we couldn't and weren't able to share them with the next generation? And that's where we are. And it's accepted now. Look at Cher. Look at everybody. They're people in their late 70s and 80s still performing and making a very big impact. And that's women have come a long way, Jill. And I aspire to be a woman. I love women businesses. All my friends, I always root for all of them because that's where we are. It's not about, sure, they think that just if you don't look good, that you can't get in front of a camera. Well, that's not true. It's all about how you feel about yourself. And if you think you're worthy, you put yourself out there and you've got something to say. And we got plenty to say now. And they're allowing us to say it.
Yeah. It's so true. It's so true. And that's really, and I think we exchanged emails about why I chose to do the show. And as I mentioned, I feel like, I was a TV news reporter for 20 years back in the day. And I just feel like now though, I look back and I'm like, I obviously worked very hard, but the experience that I have now, I was like, everyone on news should be, 50s and above. Like, this is where the going gets good. This is where, it all comes, like you said, it kind of all comes into fruition where all the experiences I had throughout my life, gosh, and it's just so much left to do. Right?
There's plenty more to do. You don't stop. Like it used to be, you stop at a certain age. Come on. We're just beginning. We have all of this ability and we've learned it through hard work and practice and being out there and putting ourselves in it. You have to put yourself in your life. You can't just watch others and watch people's lives. You have to live your life. And that is by doing that, you're experiencing what you need to do. And you take with you right now at this part of my life. I wish that I knew what I knew now when I was younger, because I probably would have been very, very successful entertainer and writer. But I think it was the journey. The journey along the way that makes us who we are. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I never really cared about the fame. You know what was important to me? What was important was that I do great work, that anything that I do, I put everything into it 100%, even if it's writing or if it's my business or anything. And I will do it to the best of my ability. And that's all you can do. Maybe you don't have the talent to, to reach, like, go millions of dollars into your business, but at least you're doing what you love and you're trying to get there. And I'm still working there to get there.
Me too. I don't think there's ever an end point, right? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I want to talk about, Karen, the song Christmas Time in New York City, because I feel like this is going to become bigger than Mariah Carey's song. Truly, I think it's going to be the focus. I think it's going to be the most played song, truly, as we move forward. So where did this song come from?
Oh, Jill, do you know how great that makes me feel? Do you know it came from, like, look, I've been singing and writing my whole entire life. Business, when I met my husband in Little Italy 30 years ago. But it came from when during the pandemic, or actually, I had this melody in my head. It was even before that. It was before my husband died. It was in 2015. I kept hearing, "It's Christmas time in New York City." And I had that melody. "It's Christmas time in New York City. Da 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 da." That's all I had was a title. And I heard that. And then I work with my writing partner, Adelaide Mancuso, who's a great writer. And she's my childhood friend since I'm 13. And we've been writing songs together for many, many years. And I told her, I gave her the melody, and she is so fast and unbelievable when it comes to lyrics. She started writing the song the next day, and I was mad at her because I want to do some too. I just don't want to say the title. So then we started working on it. We knew that it was like the past few years that we knew that Christmas, that New York needed a new song, and we wanted to write something that relayed to what people come to New York for, what they feel. It's the greatest city in the world, and all the landmarks and the places that people go, and it's the most fun time of the year. Honestly, it's a different feel than the rest of it. I mean, you have your summer and your spring, and people come to New York for all sorts of reasons, but Christmas time is very, very special. And I felt, and Dee Dee did too, we felt New York needed a song, and a song like this. And my conductor arranger, when I told him about it, he goes, and he started working on it, but then he got very ill. He actually he grew up in Garden City, and he's been living there his entire life. He's brilliant, and he couldn't finish it. So we got another Ted Firth to arrange and conduct it. And working with Angelo, I always wanted to, we always worked together since I'm 19 years old. He's been my conductor. He's quite old now. He's not doing well. And I just want to pay my respect to him that he enabled me to pursue music and writing. And without him, I don't think I would have ever stayed in it this long. But because he was a master and a genius, I was able to work with him and get my ideas and what I have down working with him. And I thank him for giving me that part of my life, which is my passion. My business is one aspect, but my passion of music. And so we wrote it to give to New York, to bring business back in, because it was, it's during the time where we're still coming and reeling in from the pandemic. And New York, business-wise, I don't think is back to where it should be. But, people are coming in. We have, it is New York is the greatest city in the world. And anyway, we wrote Christmas Time in New York City, and we hit all the landmarks and the melody. And Dee Dee and I worked very, very hard on trying to make a masterpiece. We wanted to make something that counted for New York. So you saying that you think it's going to be big.
Yeah.
Now, they're classic, and
Yeah.
also the what's his name's there's another one. There's Mariah Carey. There's a few classics that became classics. Last Christmas.
Oh, I love that
Yeah,
song. That's
which
one of my
I love.
favorites.
I
Yeah.
sing it in my head all the
Me
time.
too. Me
Mariah
too.
Carey's song. And we need something new. And
Yeah.
hopefully it'll be Christmas time in New York City.
And this is, like I'm a big Sinatra fan. I
Oh,
grew
me
up.
too.
Oh my God, Mike! I grew up listening to all. I grew up watching all the movies. My mom would watch the Gene Kelly movies, the Fred Astaire movies, listen, and even all the old Frank Sinatra movies. Which so many. It's so funny. I told my kids about that, and they're like, "Frank Sinatra was in movies." I was like, "Yeah, he was." And he was
I'm
fabulous.
surprised they'd even know the name Frank
Yeah.
Sinatra.
Oh no, my kids are all big
They
fans
are.
because I've been listening to it. I mean,
Yep.
you don't get better than that music. You
You
don't.
don't. And it's
No.
also with the great orchestra. My friend
Yes.
Victor Coluccio told me, he said he wrote the movie Son of Sam with Michael Imperioli. And he said to me, Karen, he goes, I love this orchestra. It's like a Sinatra orchestra.
Yeah.
And that to me is the
Yeah.
greatest
Yeah.
pleasure
Yeah.
we use the best musicians in the world. That's
Yeah.
who we used. And that's what we have here in New York.
Well, I want to say it was you recorded with the 12-piece orchestra, which I feel like doesn't happen as much anymore, right? Everything's just
No,
yeah.
that's something that Angelo DePippo, my conductor, taught me. Everything that we've ever done together, he said you can't get the same feel
No.
using the canned music. There is nothing like live musicians and him writing the best horn sections and the best violin sections, and everything is live and it comes together. You don't have that tin sound. It is a lot of people don't use orchestras because it
Yeah.
is very expensive. And everything I do, I put money into music and I create these great things with Dee Dee and with my conductor. But that's the sound that I want. I want
Yeah.
it to be special. You
Yeah.
can't get that using canned music.
No, it's the energy behind it. I feel like
Mhm.
it's truly like the energy of the room, of the music, and of the whole project. You as a singer, your voice is beautiful, and it's so. I mean, like Frank Sinatra's New York, New York. I mean, this is what I thought of, and I feel like someone described it as a love letter to New York, and I thought that was
Yes.
so beautiful. I thought that was so beautiful.
My agents, press here, they're in New York. They're my agents. And when they heard this song, they loved it. Like they stopped the car and they thought, "Oh my God." And when I met them, in the summer, and she said, "Karen, I always tell my artists, why don't you write a Christmas song?" And she goes, "You got it." And they believed in it and they put it out. And they did that video. I mean, it's a little late, but it's still okay because really we want to introduce it to New York.
Yeah.
And New York, New York. Everything
Yeah.
is about New York, and
Yeah.
this is Christmas.
So talk, I love it. I love it. I love your energy. Talk to me about singing. You said you always wanted to be a singer, or
Okay, well, you know what? My mother was a professional singer. She was on radio when she was a child star in the 30s, if you could
wow.
believe that. So when she had me and my other sisters, of course, I was 5 years old. My parents had the greatest parties. I grew up in Flushing, Whitestone, and we had us, and my mother had great parties. My father played the harmonica, and my mother sang. But my mother was this great blues singer. Her voice wasn't, my range is really high and powerful. And all at 5 years old, I knew that I wanted to be a singer and I wanted to entertain like my mother. But I didn't have that sex appeal that my mother had. I was kind of shy with that. I mean, I used to wear 5 sweaters. My mother was very sexy and I kind of was embarrassed. So I was more like, this power singer and wanting to do that. But I also I grew up we went to private school and it was Catholic. And I grew up in the church and I was in the choir for 8 years and nobody wanted to stand up and sing. And I'll sing and I would lead them because nobody would sing except me. And I really, this was in my blood. It's the only thing that I ever really wanted to do was to entertain and create music. I created music later on as I learned, but I've learned from the best of them. Ron Miller was one of the greatest writers. He wrote For Once in My Life and Touch Me in the Morning and all that. I had the opportunity to work with him after I did my first album that Angelo did when I was 19. And I went out to LA to work with him. And he influenced me to write my own music. And he always said, something that always stuck with me, that you are as good as your music. You have to have the song. And he always started with the title. And for some reason in my head, I always get the title, and it's longer to get everything else. But that's why I have this brilliant writing partner, Adelaide Mancuso, that I work with, and we work great together. And we kind of know, she knows my style. We know our writing skills, and we work phenomenal together. That's what I love about her.
Oh, well, I love that. So, I mean, you know what you said, and I feel like a lot of singers say this, the songs just come to them. It's almost like a spiritual practice, I feel like, right?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Mostly everything in my life has been about karma and kismet. Kismet is things that happen to you for unknown reason. And now karma, which is not the same thing. It's actions that you do that makes it happen. So it could be good karma, bad. But kismet has the spiritual aspect in it. And my life has always had that. I met my husband. I met the love of my life. And that was through looking for him. I looked for him for 20 years and I met him. I only spent 19 years with him, but he introduced me to a whole new world in Little Italy and business. And he was also an entertainer because he was an actor, and he and all his friends were Hollywood big people like Michael Douglas and Danny DeVito and Tony Danza. And these were just the caliber of people. And he brought these people into Little Italy. So, anyway,
Wow.
that's it.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful spiritual practice. I want to say for everyone listening, I mean, you were married to John Cha-Cha, as everyone
Yes.
called him. That was his nickname, the unofficial mayor of Little Italy.
Mhm.
And he was also on The Sopranos. He was also on Goodfellas. He was, everyone knew him, and he was a restaurateur. And
Yes.
so how did you meet?
Do you know what? Oh my God, how did we meet? I looked for him for a long time. And I knew that I didn't get married till later, and because I was looking for my twin soul, and I saw the back of him in a dream, like 20 years before I married him, and when I met him, it was crazy. It was crazy. My sister and a boyfriend introduced us. And the first time it was at Chuck Mangione at the Blue Note. And that was in 95. I met him in October, but I was with somebody and he was with somebody. But when we met, I recognized his voice, and my sister said, "You never want to meet anybody or here." I said, I kept asking about this Cha-Cha. And then we were able to meet again in January of 96. And when we met, Jill, I'm not kidding about this. We went to dinner. I met my sister. I met Cha-Cha, and I saw the back of him coming out of the car because we looked out the window. We were at the South Street Seaport at a restaurant. And I said, "Oh my God, that's the guy in the dream." So when he came in, now I didn't know this. We sat down and there was electricity in the air. I mean, it was like sparking. And as we're talking and we're finishing each other's sentences, and I'm like, oh my God, it was like so unreal. And from that moment on, I never left his side for 19 years. And we worked and we grew our businesses and our careers together. And I loved him. I met my twin soul. I didn't know he was going to be my twin soul, but I found him. And I wrote a song called I Found You. And this time around, because I believe that we're here many, many lifetimes. I believe that I've been with him so much before. I'm still connected to him, even in death. The first few years I cried all the time. Now I know he's around and he makes things happen. And that is the craziest, but we know we're in a time of a spiritual awakening. And my sister June, my sister Denise, they both see spirits and everything. And I don't want to see anything. Okay. You can see them. I don't want them around me. I have enough dealing with earth and regular people. So
You are funny. You are funny.
thank you.
It's so funny because I have a similar story. I used to I've been with my husband we know each other for 30 years this coming year, but I used to have a dream when I was younger and I was dancing with someone, but I never saw his face. I always saw his hairline and his shape. So, and it was so funny. And then when I met my husband, I actually saw him at a distance, and I was on the phone with one of my closest friends, and I said, "Oh my God, I'm looking at my husband," and I hadn't even said a word to him. And then it's so funny, Ball. At our wedding, I looked up and we were dancing, and that was the exact image I had seen in my dream. So I thought, yeah. So I believe in all of that.
And that is absolutely it. I never saw his face, and I thought it was somebody else, but it was actually turned out to be Cha-Cha. Do you know, it's really amazing that when, we can't force who to love and who to love and for them to love us. And I always I got very hurt young at 20 and I didn't understand. And I think I didn't understand why he didn't love me the way I loved him, but you can't force that. It's either there or it's not. And we're set up where there are our loves that come into this world that are there for us. And we just have to be aware that they are there and know, because you can't make things happen. It just doesn't work like that. And if something is wrong, it's not. And it's when it's equal that you develop that. But sometimes you don't know right away, but I knew right away, like you. I knew, and you saw him and you knew that was in the dream. Like me too. I didn't see his face. So, you pick other people, but they're the wrong ones.
Now, did Cha-Cha feel the same, that instant connection with you too?
He did.
I love it.
He did. He felt the exact same way. There was electricity. My sister and a boyfriend sat there with their mouths open. We completely ignored them. And then the whole restaurant, I swear to God, I'm like, what are all these people? They were all coming because they were attracted to what was going on between Cha-Cha and I. And all these people were coming over and I didn't know what was happening. And I was like, oh my God. And I went home. You know what I did? I told my mother, I said, Mommy, I met my husband and he's the one.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. Oh my God. So we're going to talk so much more about that.
Okay.
I want to take a break here quick. Boy, this is going so fast, Karen. This is going so fast.
It will.
I know. All right. Oh my gosh. But we'll be back with Karen King after the commercial break. You're listening to Secrets of Powerful Women. Help me get the word out. Share this with your friends because this is so good. And this is Karen's song and it's excellent.
Hi everybody, I'm Jill Conway. If you love what you're listening to, please like and subscribe to my channel on whatever podcast platform you listen to and on YouTube so I can keep bringing you these amazing women and sharing their stories. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you love it as much as I do.
Times Square, Broadway, light the sky, bright for all to see.
All right, welcome back to Secrets of Powerful Women. You're listening to the beautiful voice of Karen King, her holiday song entitled Christmas Time in New York City. Karen, welcome back.
Thank you, Jill.
I want to talk about the song because as we mentioned earlier, I said, and you said, it's really a spiritual practice, and you said it came to you. But, and you've wanted to be a singer, since you were little. So what was your first breakthrough when you finally got that professional singing gig? What was it?
Well, it's when I made my first album. And it's funny. I picked a song when we were working on the album, working with Ron Miller. And oh my God, he gave me a song and I didn't pick it. And it was a song called, you get music. I wasn't writing at that point. I didn't even know that I could write at that point. I could know that I could sing and entertain and talk, but I didn't know I could write. So when I was 19, I did my first album and Ron Miller my manager at the time went out to meet Ron Miller in LA, and he had a whole bunch of songs. He gave me this song. He told me to do it, and I didn't, because I didn't think it was good. And it was called "I've Never Been to Me." Do you remember that song? I'd been to Nice and the Isle of Greece, and I sipped champagne on a yacht. Well, I didn't put it on the album. It became like number one, like all over the world. And then it's crazy, because you go through these things that happen to you in your life, and as you know, I know everything happens for a reason. Maybe it didn't happen because maybe it wasn't supposed to happen then. And I had this other song, like this, the craziest things happened to me. Like I had this song when we were working on the album, and I said, Angelo, went to my conductor, I said, "This is gonna make $1 million on this song." And I wanted to do a remake of Hey There, Lonely Girl. Remember, it was
I love that song.
Holland,
Hey
Dozier,
there.
and I wanted to do Hey There, Lonely Boy. So my conductor, we were working on this, and I had this kid, he was like 18, he was a sax player, and with he and I said, oh my God, this is all, and I have that big wide range, and I said, this is going to be number one. And one of the guys my old musicians, I told him what some of the stuff we were working on. And he said, Karen, it's out. I said, what do you mean it's out? And he said, the song is out. It was just recorded by this guy, Robert John. It became a huge hit.
Yeah.
So let me tell you about another thing. Now, another thing that happened, I had an opportunity. I was in LA working with Mabel King, who became my Hollywood mom. Now Mabel was the woman, the heavy black lady from What's Happening. And she kind of took me under her wing. And I opened a lot of shows with her in LA, gay bars, everything you could think of. I would sing in an elevator. That's how much I love it. And Mabel would introduce me as her daughter. And I'd be like coming out this blonde girl, and they'd be like, Karen King. And we'd sign autographs, and we got such a kick out of it. Mabel would say, Karen, take my name. So that's how I became Karen King. But the story was, so we were working, and then I got an offer to go on a tour in Nashville with this guy, Win Stewart. And I didn't know much about country music. I studied Patsy Cline. I studied everybody for 3 months before we were going to go out on tour. This is in 1985. And we were going to go on a 6-month tour. And Win was like, he wrote a number one song in 1969. He was making a comeback. He was 50 years old. I was in my, late 20s. And I said to Win, Win, I found this song, and it's funny. And this was in 85, and I listened to Dolly Parton. And now Dolly Parton's a brilliant writer, and she had this song, I'll Always Love You. And I said, Win, this is going to be a huge song for me because I have the range to do this. So I had it before Whitney, but what happened was, this is the way things happen, and I don't know why, Jill. We were getting ready to go on tour. That morning, I was staying at his brother-in-law's house, and being taken care of. I was, a young girl. Nothing was going to happen to me. They were protecting me. And he comes into my room at 6 a.m. and said, "I'm going to write songs for you. We're going to be the greatest comeback." And I said, "We're going to be the best one out there." And he went home. The bus is ready. All the musicians are ready. Our shows are ready. And he dies of a massive heart attack. So you know where I sang I'll Always Love You? At his funeral, we took a little plane to Missouri, where he was from. We buried him there, and I sang I'll Always Love You. And then, being a New York girl, I was like a Yankee. I was the Yankee singer in Nashville. I said, I came back to New York, and I've been here ever since.
Oh my goodness.
But these are just some of the experiences. And and I always I remember everything, and I'm like, I look at my life and think, okay, so it's not going to make it then. And now I said to Dee Dee a couple of years ago, I said, Dee, we got to write a hit song. We got to write our own music, because nobody's ever going to, for us to get out there this time in our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karen, it's the journey, as we said, it's the journey of becoming. So now's your time. This is it.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's just so unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was trying, I want to talk a little bit about, Alleva is the oldest cheese store in
Yeah.
America.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you know that that's like something that my husband and I, when I met Chacha, we had the cafe and we had Chacha's, and we had the cafe. He had it for like 39 years or something. My husband was born and raised on Mulberry Street. And Alleva was, you see, we were up near closer to Canal Street, if you know New York, Canal Street. And Alleva was on the corner of Mulberry and Graham. So it was, but we used, my husband's family were from Benevenito, and they were kind of, when you're cousins and when you're close like that, you're everybody's cousin in an Italian family. So they were like our cousins. And Bobby Alleva ran it for it was there, his aunt, and I guess the grandfather since 1892. It was there. And we bought all their cheese for years and years. Chacha bought all their cheese and they were the best. And when we had an opportunity, we heard they were going out. Chacha said to me, my husband, this is my husband now, had this, look at how spiritual he is. So for 6 months, he called up Bobby every Friday. This is in 2013, and it started in July. And Bobby Alleva said, no, Chacha, it's not available. And I said, so I watched this guy for every week calling Bobby. I said, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. And you know what he said to me? He said, Karen, we're supposed to have Alleva. We're supposed to be there. And sure enough, in December, and I'll never forget, it's December 6th, Bobby, his deal fell through. Somebody else was supposed to take it. And he said, Chacha, since you've been pursuing me every Friday for the past 6 months or whatever, I'm going to let you have it if you want it. We ran over there to grab Alleva and save Alleva, the oldest cheese store in America. We knew what that legacy was and the history there in Little Italy. And I've never seen my husband so happy. You had to see us. We were like two little kids. We had benches outside sitting on this corner on Mulberry and Grand thinking, oh my God, this is the greatest thing that happened to us. So, of course, I wanted to save it. I mean, there's a lot more that happened. And if you want to hear about it, I'll tell you about it.
For sure. For
Do
sure.
you?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're there. We're having a year. We put our cannolis out and our gelato and Italian specialties and all of that. And we meet people. Now, Chacha knows people. They came to him from all over the world and back and forth. And the celebrities, too. All his friends were the biggest celebrities in the industry. So we go there open, and it's like the reputation, it's a gold seal business because it is the oldest, and it was like we were so proud of it. The next year my husband died, so he died in 2015 in November. It was unexpected. It was just terrible that I lost him, and I really didn't think that I would lose him. I only had him 19 years. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. I couldn't believe that I lost him. And so I had to continue the legacy. And something he always told me, don't ever give up Alleva. That is our legacy. That is something that you need to do. So what happened was we had the pandemic, and the pandemic it hurt everybody. Listen, you saw the bowling ball going down the streets of Fifth Avenue because there was nobody around. Well, you know what it was like. There was nobody there in the city. And this was in 2020. I only shut it down for 2 months, but I opened it up because I wanted to take care. I got in bread, milk, butter, and I would basically give it all away, but we didn't want to close. We wanted to stay open. And then I got into a big deal. I got into a battle with the landlord, Alleva Dairy, Karen King, and the landlord. And she didn't know that there was a pandemic and that nobody was paying people couldn't pay $25,000 a month rent. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I wasn't even making $2. Right. Anyway, I knew that I wasn't going to give up and let this go. And I kept it. I battled with her till 2023. We made a deal. I didn't want to leave, but she made it impossible. Jill, it took a lot of money. I put all my money, my savings into saving Alleva Dairy. and I saved it, but I couldn't make it, wasn't enough. And I had my friend John Viola and Mayor de Blasio helping me, and they were giving me the money, but she made it impossible to even save it for $1 million, and she raised the rent. Anyway, a long story short, I left, and it was amicable. And I went to Jersey, but I didn't open Jersey because I didn't like the contracts. And I knew in a month that I wanted to be back in New York. I was invited to Chelsea Market. We were invited. Chelsea Market is one of the greatest destinations in New York. And the only reason why I turned it down, because I was offered $1 million to go to Jersey. And I thought, okay, well, we're going to build. He said, let's build 30 Allevas. And that was enticing to me. But when it didn't work out with the contracts, I said, I want back in New York. So I had to wait to get back. So while I'm waiting, the building, this is in 2023 that I left of March. And I was heartbroken that I didn't have that, but we were waiting to get in Chelsea. And then the December, we didn't get in, and we just had to wait. And in January of 2024, I'm watching on television. It was January 11th or something like that. And I'm seeing, and I said, gee, that looks like my building, partial building collapse. Now, I'm out of there. So what's happening is when I left, I guess that's why she made a deal with me not to, I took it out of bankruptcy because I put it in bankruptcy because I didn't want her to get it. And then I took it out. We made a deal. And she had this guy come in. He's a restaurateur, and he was also a contractor. But little did he do, did he get the permits or that, he dug so deep into the building bottom that he compromised the structure of the building. So now here it is, January 11th. I'm watching the news and I see my building in it, and there's a big gaping hole. And what was going on now, this is where I think Chacha comes in following me. They had the 25th anniversary, Jill, of The Sopranos next door at Danico. Now, if Chacha was alive, we would have been in there. So I believe that my husband, Karma, I didn't want to leave. I was supposed to be there. I didn't deserve what I got to get to leave. And you're there 131 years and I didn't want to leave. I loved Little Italy. I loved my heritage there. And so now the building is compromised. It's the 25th anniversary. And I just thought, God, Chacha, what are you doing? You're following me around and causing chaos. So as it turns out, the building came down. They had to take it down because it was not recoverable. And now there's a gapping up, which I'm not happy. I'm just happy that nobody got hurt and all through this. But now look at that. Now, how does that happen? Is that karma or kismet? Is that things happen for a reason? This has been my path. This is where I'm going. I'm going to Chelsea Market. I couldn't, for 2.5 years, I wasn't allowed to say that I was going there. Could you imagine somebody like me keeping that a secret? So they released it, and I'm allowed to talk about it a little, and we're building. So I have my song out, which I love, and I think it's great, and it's, I think, going to be a big song for New York. And I'm opening a Chelsea Market, and we're not opening yet. I was hoping to have it at the same time, but them announcing it, it was like, it gave me a double great thing to talk about with you.
Yeah. When are you hoping to actually open? Do you know?
We should open, we're looking at late February, still in the winter, maybe early March, but we're looking, I have the builders, the plans. I changed the layout of this store 10 times. I pictured it the way I was going to do, and we kept changing it, but now I think it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be just like the corner of Mulberry and Grand, only it's smaller, but I'm going to have a modern feel, new things on the menu. I got Danny Palucci, a little bit of him to make his fabulous dishes. And we're going to give them we're going to give Chelsea Market everything that we were famous for. And they love us. They love the brand. They're so welcoming. And I love these people, and they do everything right. So it's going to be my new home, and I'm so excited for that aspect of it too. So in the song, I put Chelsea Market, and I put Mulberry Street.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God, this is like a dream come true,
It
right?
is. It is. It
Uh,
really is. Jill, why did, like, you don't know. I was going to jump in the East River a couple of months ago. I live
oh
right
no.
here in Waterside because I didn't know where it was going. And I was very anxious. And it's always
Yeah.
been like, okay, are we getting it? Am I doing it? And I wasn't positive about it. I kept my girlfriends who I love that are dear to me. And, they kept me strong. And they also supported me because it's like I'm waiting 2.5 years. I'm running out of money. And they helped me, my girlfriend Sharon Barnett and Jackie Siegel. And these girls are my favorite people, and they're my best friends. And it takes women to help me
Yeah.
out of a situation. That's
Yeah.
why I was going to jump in the East River. But now
Oh.
everything is happening. Every single thing is happening where I could continue and go on and bring that legacy there.
Oh, I love it. Listen, when women, help each other out, we're unstoppable. We are
Jill,
unstoppable.
women could support one another today, and
Yeah.
the women are so strong out there now. It's a different world, and I'm so
Yeah.
happy that it's a better world for us. I mean, look at what the 100 years of trying to be equal
Right.
and fighting and just trying to be recognized. And yes, it's still guys, with the guys world, and they get together, especially like I had that experience. My husband was, he was a guy's guy, and you still have that. But, somebody said to me the other day on Facebook, they said, wow, how did you do this with Chelsea Market? And this was Chacha's cousin. And I said to him, I said, I said, never will I let my heart go for Alleva Dairy and Chacha. And he said to me, Karen, he wrote me back. He said, Chacha is looking down at you and he's saying, that's my girl.
Oh my God.
They're great.
Karen, I hear a song. I feel a song coming out of that.
That's my girl. You go for it. I want to write an anthem like for powerful women. I think that we need a new one. We need another one.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to tell Dee Dee.
Let
But
me
if
know.
I tell her, she'll write the whole thing.
Listen, it's great to have a friend like that. You're like, here's
It
my
is.
ideas.
She makes it too easy. I have to think too. And I do. I come in and write what I think and perfect it. But
Yeah.
Dee Dee is a master, and I love working with her.
And you mentioned your friends. I mean, you have Jackie Segal, who has a show on Broadway about her life, right?
About her life.
I think
And
you have good company. I
good company. I got great company, but I got girls that I have known Jackie for 35 years since she was a young, in her 20s.
Wow.
And everything in that play, The Queen of Versailles, I went through all of that with her. I went through her whole life. And Sharon Barnett is a playwright and a great, great songwriter. And I surround myself with people, but they love me and I love them. And you can't have, even if you have a handful of friends, as long as they love you. And I got a new girl in my life, my friend Lori Beck, who was from kindergarten. And we went through 19 years together. And then we didn't talk to one another for 40 years. And we just connected all year. So she's been my support for the past year. And she lives in Connecticut.
I love that.
I need voices of reason because I'm out there.
Well, you're energized. I think you tap into another level of, your life, your humanity. And then, I need people to bring me back down to earth sometimes.
You're great. You're doing phenomenal. Are you kidding me? This show is so big and it's going to be huge. And I'm happy to be on it.
You're the best. I appreciate that. It is. I feel it growing. I feel it. I'd love to see where we end up. So, or at least the next stage.
Be on television, not just radio. I see you having your own show, and I want to be a part of it. I definitely would. I mean, I have a lot to do, but you keep having me on, and I will surely be there, Jill. I adore you.
Thank you. Oh my God, it's so funny. You know what, Karen? I believe in writing things down, and I was writing things that I wanted, and I said I want to have my own TV show. I did say that. It's so funny that you said that. You're psychic. I feel like you're psychic.
You see it, you make it happen, you put it into motion. That is the secret of powerful women. Seeing it, realizing it, and putting in motion and not stopping. The key is to be persistent and never give up.
Well, that's what I want to ask you. You know, when in all that you've done, and I mean, your albums, and you had a one-woman show and things like this.
Yes.
What advice would you give to young women who maybe want to be singer, or who have a song in their mind, or in their heart to
Okay.
write?
When I was younger, nobody really helped me. And what I want to say to the girls are study, learn your craft, learn about music, learn the instruments, know what you're doing. Even if you want to write and sing, you have to study. The most important thing that I could say is that I went home. I studied and rehearsed 5 hours a day when I was in my teens, because all I could think about was being out there and doing music. And I made myself so much better. Yes, I had a natural talent, but I think that, like, people say, oh, you weren't as good. Baloney. I was always good. I made sure I got better and better and became so immersed in being the best that I people are telling me that they love it, and that's it. And I could tell the young women, you have to study, you have to learn your craft. You want to write, you start writing. You write every single day. You write, even if it's a memoir, even if it's things that you're doing. That's how you become. That's where the greatness comes in, is perfecting what you are doing. Whether it's singing songs, like I studied all great singers. My parents had that music like you with Sinatra. I grew up on all this great music. So of course, naturally, we want to hear that. The music, it's look at the transitions the music has gone through. And I think that people are hungry for great music and great songs again.
I think so.
That's why I have a shot.
Yeah. Oh no, I think you have more than a shot. So,
thank you.
I mean, Karen, here's what I envision. All right. So I see you next year. Well, first of all, I'm going to come to Chelsea Market. I'm going to stop by. So we'll have to text each other when you're there.
The opening, Jill.
Oh yes.
I want to do something.
Yes.
I think that the grand opening, that you should be there, especially with your show.
Oh,
and
you're
you
so
can
funny.
interview some of the powerful women that surround me.
Oh my God. Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Okay.
But I would love to. But not only that, I see this honestly. Here I already see it. You're going to have a float at either the Thanksgiving Day parade or a Christmas parade, and I'll be a little elf in the background, like swinging as you sing in New York City as you go down. But I truly think that this is going to be larger than life. This song.
Oh my God, Jill, from your mouth to God's ears, because He makes everything happen.
Yeah.
And it is about the universe. And when it's ready, it's ready.
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen. It happens when it's supposed to. Thank you so much. I love that you feel that way about it.
100%.
I feel that way about it.
Yeah. Well, that's all that matters. And it goes from there, and I'm sure, and Cha-Cha's helping from above for sure.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I got a few people helping me in that department.
That's wonderful. Oh my God, that's wonderful. All right, I can't believe this, but this is it. That's it for us. We're coming.
Are you
to
serious?
Yes.
We have to come back. We could go on and on, Jill, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Thank you. See how fast it goes when we have a lot to say?
It's oh my God, so funny. So, but we're going to end the show once again listening to Karen's beautiful song, Christmas Time in New York City. Please, Karen, where can they find it? Besides here, but where can they find it?
I'm on Karen King, NYC. It's on YouTube, Spotify, all the platforms the song is on. And it's starting to really move, and it's out there. So I hope that everybody goes to Karen King, NYC, and goes to YouTube or Spotify and put in what you think of it. And if you think this is the next great New York song.
Oh my God, I'm going to share it too. So I'll be sharing it, and everybody download it. Go to Spotify, go to Apple, whatever you wherever you find it. Yes, and save it on YouTube, and this will be the big hit for your Christmas celebration for sure.
Oh, thank you, Jill. Thank you so much.
Oh,
I love you.
Oh, I love you too. A big thank you, Karen, for coming on the show, sharing your incredible journey. I truly appreciate it. I'm so happy we connected.
Me too, Jill. Me too.
Oh, I love your story. And again, I'm Jill Conway. Thank you for listening to the show celebrating incredible women like Karen. I hope that you're inspired to pursue your own goals, believe in yourself, and dream bigger. Your voice matters, and your story can help others. So I hope you join me next time. Share this podcast, friend, and follow Karen's Song, and follow us all on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and whatever. And Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas, Jill.
Merry Christmas, Karen.
The ladies are held high. Freedom Tower, freedom rings as the boats go by. Just